can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn.
To the Chelley Roy Show. I am your host, Chelley Roy, and we have an amazing show for you guys tonight. We have a huge lineup. I hope you guys have had a wonderful week so far. I hope you guys are remaining to be safe and sanitized. I miss you guys. It seems like it's been forever, but welcome back. I'm glad to be here. And like I stated, we have an amazing show for you guys tonight. I always like to start off the show with thanking our sponsors. Our sponsors are very important. The Chelley Roy Show is sponsored by Built on Survival Skills Apparel. We're also sponsored by Liquid Lipo, guys, where you can lose up to 1 pound a day. For those of you guys who are still struggling to get off those unwanted pounds, Liquid Lipo will definitely do the trick for you. I also want to thank my amazing makeup artist, Miss Amber Singletary, my photographer, Mr. Steven Tucker, my amazing executive producer, who I couldn't do this show without, Mr. Delmas Luther. I also want to thank my graphic designer and creative director, Miss Angela Washington. I'm sure she doesn't want to be mentioned, but she is absolutely amazing. And branding and investment is very important, which is what I pride myself on doing at the Chelley Roy Show. And lastly, I would like to thank my UBM family. So before we get into it, we have an amazing lineup. We have Mr. Zabril Carey, Miss Rachel Gaskins, and Miss Kimberly Fernandez. Up next after the break, you guys.
Experience, because this is helping you grow as a play-by-play broadcaster. You know what I mean? Talk about all those experiences and what you've learned from them and how that has helped you into the person and play-by-play broadcaster you are today.
Yeah, for sure.
Welcome back to the Chelley Roy Show, guys. I am your host, Chelley Roy. My next guest is CEO and founder of Locked In Podcast, and he is doing an amazing job. He's doing amazing things. So this is one young guy you guys want to be on the lookout for. Help me welcome Mr. Zabril Carey. Welcome, Zabril. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. I appreciate
it. Absolutely. So how are you guys doing during this pandemic? Are you guys being safe and sanitized?
Yeah, everybody being safe, just trying to survive through the pandemic.
Absolutely.
Do whatever you gotta do.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell everybody who Zabril Carey is and what's your story.
So I'm Zabril Carey. I'm 21 years old. I'm a senior at Bowie State University right now, studying communications.
Awesome.
I was originally born in Newark, New Jersey. Grew up in the Hillside, Livingston area.
Okay.
And then I moved to Maryland when I was 7 years old. So moving to Maryland just for better opportunities and things like that. And I got a chance to start this podcast just to give people a voice and a platform. Really giving them a voice and a platform just because where I'm from, the Lower Maryland area, it's a lot of talent, and it just has to be found. So I feel like me starting a podcast just gives people that exposure that they need,
I love that. So taking it a step back, so you seem so very mature for your age. Where did that come from? Your parents obviously did an amazing job, but where did that come from?
Like you said, my parents just always, making sure I'm focused and just coming up a certain way, just making sure I'm responsible and certain things like that from a very young age. I feel like that molded me into the person I am today. Having responsibilities at such a young age and just always making sure I'm staying on the right path, not getting caught up in anything I'm not supposed to be doing.
I absolutely love that. So how long have you been doing your podcast?
So I started my podcast in August 2020.
Okay.
And when I first started it, I did my first. It's not as easy as you thought. It's not as easy as I thought because my first episode was outside. Like, I didn't even have no equipment. I didn't really even know how to really do a podcast. I was just like, this is something I can see myself doing in the near future. So I'll just trial and error, just like you said. So my first episode was outside, and it was actually my first guest was with one of my childhood friends, Kirk Hawkins. He was a basketball player. He played in college. Now looking to play overseas, but that was my first episode. And after my first episode, I knew that I could build off that episode. So I just I'm gonna continue doing it and see where it goes from there.
That's amazing. I absolutely love that. So you definitely have to start somewhere, and I appreciate you having basically the confidence in yourself to basically start. Because a lot of people who want to become entrepreneurs and have ideas, what holds them back a lot of times is they just don't know how to start. So the fact that you started and then learned by trial and error and mastered your way as you progressed is amazing. I applaud you for that. So what is the purpose of your podcast, and how do you feel like you're impacting the community with your podcast?
So the purpose is just to give people a voice. Say you have a clothing brand. If you want to come on my podcast and talk about that, I'll interview about that, just to give you more exposure. And it actually has been helping people. Like I've have a business partner by the name of Dwayne Williams. He has a clothing brand named Off the Hustle. Me and him partner on a lot of things. Like we did a turkey giveaway and certain things like that. But basically, I'm just giving people exposure, and it's been helping them. Like he would tell me people would come up to him about his brand just because of the episode that we did, and getting more exposure, people buying more of his sweatsuits and things like that. Also had another friend who does eyelashes by the name Corinne Garrett. I got a chance to interview her, and people was DMing me saying like I really like her eyelashes. So it's helping benefit them, but it's also benefiting me because it's teaching me how to do a podcast, and it's helping me grow like every step of the way. So that's what
absolutely. I love that when you're operating in a capacity where you're giving of yourself to help others, it's a very gratifying feeling. So I can definitely appreciate that for sure. And that's some amazing stuff that you're doing because it's going to come back to you as well. So overall, what is your goal as far as having a podcast? Is it something that you're working towards greater, or what is your goal overall?
My overall goal is to have my own talk show one day. Like, just kind of like you have your own talk show. Like that's my overall goal. I want to have my own talk show just to give everybody a chance and just show how they're achieving and prospering in life. That's my overall goal. And I just want to build off my podcast. Like I don't just want to have a podcast. I want to start with a podcast and build off the different business ventures. You know what I mean? Like possibly having my own building where I have a studio session for artists and certain things like that. possibly a basketball gymnasium because I played basketball growing up. So I'm always have a passion with that, but that's really my overall goal.
I love
have my
that.
own talk show.
Visionary, for sure. If you manifest it, it will definitely happen, for sure. That's the biggest thing as entrepreneurs, or just anything that you aspire to be in life. You have to have that belief in yourself. Because once you have the belief in yourself, no one can take that away from you. No one can say that they made you or that they presented you as you are. You are the one that put in the work. So I absolutely love that. That's amazing,
that.
for sure. The other question I would have is, since you've been doing the podcast, what have been some of the highs and the lows, you would say, that you've experienced in having your podcast?
Some of the highs and the lows is just finding the right environment to do the podcast. Like I said, when I first started, I did my first couple of episodes outside, and then I transitioned into doing it in my home and finding a space to where it looks professional.
Right.
Because you want to have a professional environment when you do a podcast, have the correct equipment and things like that. So I would say a low has been not starting off with the right equipment, really trying to figure out how I can maintain with the podcast.
Yeah.
And I would say a high is just getting good feedback off the podcast. Like when I first started, I had no idea it was gonna help me achieve so many things so far.
Yeah.
And I know I still have a long time and a lot more things to do, but I would say that's one of the highs, just getting a lot of good feedback and looking out really for my community of the Lower Maryland area. Like off the podcast, I try to market and promote it as much as I can. So I'll do certain things like held community events, like I did a Thanksgiving giveaway to where I gave back turkeys to my community.
I love that.
Another high is just impacting the community. That's what I really
love
say,
that. You definitely are on the right path with that. You definitely have to give back to the community. You have to show that you care, and then in return, they'll do the same for you. So from one talk show host to another, you definitely have to keep going. Continue to master your craft. Don't give up, and just keep pushing. I see big things for you, so you're definitely on the right path for sure. Never give up.
Thank you.
That's one thing that I can definitely share with you. If it was easy, then everyone would be up here doing it. So continue to believe in yourself and continue to purposely be impactful and give back to your community, and that's going to really help you. The other thing I would say is, what advice, since you're still a young, aspiring entrepreneur and you're still working through self-development and future business development, what advice would you give to other aspiring young entrepreneurs?
The first thing I would say is just be yourself. When you start off young, you're really trying to figure out what you want to do in life. You always want to be original. Don't try to do what somebody else is doing because you want to follow behind them. Just be yourself and be original. Don't follow behind nobody. Just be a leader. That's the main thing, because we need leaders in this world of today, especially in today's society with everything that's going on. So I would just say be a leader, always be yourself, and then whatever you do, you always want to be organized. You know what I mean? And show effort. That's the main thing. You always want to show effort in what you're doing, whether you play a sport, whether like we got a talk show host, or you aspire to be an actor. Always show effort. If you show no effort, you're not really going to get anywhere because you're just talking about it. So you always want to show effort and be organized for sure.
I agree. You definitely have to back it with action for sure.
Right.
So you mentioned that you were a basketball player, or are a basketball player. What position do you play?
I played point guard.
Point guard.
High school and college, yeah.
Okay. I have a son who played point guard. He was mean. He was a lefty, for sure. I love that. So what inspired you to become a basketball player?
When I first started playing basketball when I was born in New Jersey, that's when I first started. And I ain't gonna lie, when I first started, I wasn't really that good. So, but I just kept, they always tell me like, you know, no matter, you always keep going, you always never stop running. And then when I moved to Maryland, I started playing AAU basketball.
Yes.
My father, he started an AAU organization named the Maryland Rebels, and I started playing AAU, and it kind of made me aspire to be a basketball player more and more and more. Okay. And I always wanted to get the chance to go to college and play basketball. That was my main goal, because I would have been the first to go play in college out of my family. So that was always been a big goal of mine. So once I achieved that, you know, it was a long journey though. In high school, we had a pretty solid team my senior year. It didn't end how we wanted things to end, but I will never forget that season because that really taught me that I have to work harder.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We didn't end up going to the regional championship, and I just felt like we could have made it. So by us not doing that whole summer, I just worked really hard. And even when I got to college my first year, I didn't even play college basketball my first year. The coach didn't even really look at me to be on the team. they kind of had their team already.
Right.
You know, I was kind of down a little bit from that, but
Of course.
being the person that I am, I'm going to look at that, and this is going to add fuel to my fire.
It's going to motivate you even
So
more.
that whole summer, I just worked super hard. I was working out every day. My brother's in the crowd. We're recording. Me and him worked out almost every single day. We was nonstop. And by the time I got back to Howard Community College, I still didn't get put on the team. And they put me as a manager.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was a
Leadership.
manager.
I love that too.
They put me as a manager because of my grades.
Yeah.
And you know, me, I felt like I was better than a lot of players that was on there.
Of
But
course.
you know, that just added fuel to my fire. And then one day, they was just practicing and scrimmaging, and he was like, you know, we're down a person, so we want you to go practice and scrimmage with them. And I really ended up doing really well. So, and I still wasn't on the team yet. So I'm like, I'm doing all this and all this, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I was just like, I can't get discouraged at all.
I love
just
that.
gotta keep going, because that's just how I was raised, and that's just how I was brought up. So I was like, I'm gonna keep going and going. So we had a tournament in North Carolina. When we had the tournament in North Carolina, he called me to the room. Me thinking, I'm thinking I'm about to get in trouble. I'm like, man, did I not bring the book or the bag or something like that? He was like, we're gonna put you on the team, and you know, you've been working really hard.
Your work ethics,
Work ethic was
the
really
determination.
good.
You showed up every day,
Right.
even though at that time wasn't your time.
Right.
But you had to wait for your time. So that's what they
Definitely.
saw, which was really beautiful. What would you say are some of your greatest success habits? I know you talked about effort and really showing up and putting forth that effort. What would you say are some of your success habits?
Definitely, number one, I feel like I'm a leader in the room, wherever I'm at. It can be my friends, family. I always feel like I'm a leader, just 'cause the type of person I am. You know, I'm very laid back, but I always want to push people to do the right things, whether that's
that.
myself or people that's coming up under me, for example, my little brother.
You
So
gotta
always
be an
being a leader in the
example.
room, and I always just feel like I always show effort. That's a huge thing, showing effort, being organized, and just impacting other people's lives.
That's
Like,
what it's about.
So far, me doing this podcast, I've impacted so many lives that I never thought I could.
It's a
Like,
gratifying
sometimes-
feeling, right?
Yeah,
Because
I'll
it's not
have-
just about
right.
you. Not just about you.
Right. Like, I'll have people DM me and tell me, we love your podcast. You know, you really inspire me to go out here and make something of myself. You
I
know,
love that.
That me being the person I am, that just pushes me to go more and more. Just keep dropping episodes, coming up with different ideas, content, and certain things like that.
Well, I'm going to keep a lookout. I subscribe to your YouTube channel, so I'm
Yeah.
going to keep looking out. So tell everybody so they too can subscribe to your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so for everybody
What's the
out
name of
there,
your podcast?
my podcast is Locked in the Podcast, LOCKEDIN, the podcast on Instagram. Don't have a Twitter page, so you can find me on Instagram for sure at Locked in the Podcast.
Okay. So really quickly, is there anything else that I haven't asked that you want us to know about you?
Well, so I am at Bowie State right now.
Okay.
I'm going to graduate in the summertime with a communications degree, my bachelor's.
Awesome.
Once I finish my communications degree and get my bachelor's, I'm going to go and looking to get my master's degree. But I'm going to switch it. I'm going to go into broadcasting
Okay.
because I do want to have a talk show host, and I want to get, you know, both sides of the field. So
Yeah, you definitely have
the business
have
side of
industry.
communications and public relations
Yeah.
and learning how to interact with people, you know, be professional. And then broadcasting is like for the audience and learning how to be in front of the TV screen and certain things like that. So
No, that's
definitely
great.
what
You
I'll be
have to
doing.
have both ends of the spectrum, not just the business, but the industry itself.
Right.
Well, I am so glad that you took the time out to be a part of the show.
Most
And I
definitely.
thank you for coming on to the show. So you guys make sure you check out Mr. Zabril
it.
Carey and follow him on Instagram and YouTube. We'll be back after the break.
At Girlkin, we don't just do lashes, we offer an exceptional experience where women feel confident and celebrated in luxurious style, right down to the faux fur and crystal chandeliers. We tailor each experience based on your in-advance service request, so there's little to no wait. Upon arrival for your appointment, you're greeted with bottled water or a glass of champagne and escorted by our friendly lash artists to promptly begin your lash experience transformation. What sets us apart? Our amazing customer experience. There is nothing like it. We laugh, we care, we listen, we make it happen. Girlkin is a lifestyle. Lots of fun, laughs, and amazing lashes. Come try the Girlkin VIP experience.
It's the Chelley Roy Show. It's the Chelley Roy Show. It's the Chelley Roy Show, and it's going down. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn.
You guys, welcome back to the Chelley Roy Show. I am your host, Chelley Roy, and my next guest is CEO and founder of Celestial Tax Service. You guys help me welcome Miss Rachel Gaskins. Welcome, love. Welcome. Do that again. I like that. I like that. I like that.
Thank you.
It is so good to have you here.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Thank you so much. So, how are you guys doing during this pandemic?
Surviving.
Absolutely.
Very traumatic from last year.
Of course.
We're just trying to kind of catch up on the switch of power and just the environment in itself.
Yeah.
I know I was affected very heavily. I actually was sick from it, and then business stopped, and you know,
wow.
we had to go to
I'm
another
so glad
plan.
that you survived it and bounced back, because last year was a heavy year.
Yes.
Cases are so high and still climbing, and some of
Yes.
us weren't fortunate to make it. So I thank God that you made it through that.
Thank you so much for
For
that.
sure, that was super rough. So tell us who Rachel Gaskins is and what's your story?
Well, my name is Precious Rachel Gaskins. I am Southeast born and bred,
Yes, love. What part of Southeast?
Anacostia.
Okay, all right. Yes, give it up for Anacostia. We in here. Doing big things, Anacostia has many entrepreneurs. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So, what got me started with my business, I actually thought the idea of it in 2007, 2008, when when we first faced like a real hardship. I want to say that they would have considered that like a depression, a Great Depression,
Yes.
similar. So always talked about it. Always did little businesses, like I owned a salon. I was a stylist, and kept it in the back of my mind. So I had prepped in 2013 when my youngest son went to college, and I said, well, let me go ahead and get in preparations. And what was not there for me was just the knowledge.
The knowledge, for sure. No, I can definitely attest to that. Just having the basic, like you said, knowledge and tools of just the taxes, the ins and outs, is so very important. Whether
Yes.
or not you have a business, whether or not you're an individual, but even more so, it can be tricky and complicated when you have a business. So just really understanding and knowing the knowledge and having the tools is very, very helpful. So perfect segue into this.
Yes.
So this is tax season. We're also under a new administration,
Yes.
which means tax laws,
Yes.
rules, credits, everything changes. So educate us, or what are the top 5 things that we as tax preparers need to know as we begin to file for 2021?
Well, the main basic thing was the stimulus relief package. That was the first initial package before switch of power. Knowing how that package affects us going forward.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing. I am more than just a preparer. I am a tax company. I am an ERO. And it's very important to...
What's the ERO for some of us who aren't?
An ERO is pretty much a tax company that is authorized in IRS. We're with e-service, so
Okay.
I am a what you consider a mom and pop. I'm not. H&R Block is considered corporate.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
I work with a bureau. I have an account with IRS directly, and we are legislative law through Congress
Got
immediately.
it.
Preparers are to know the basic, changes of laws and tax forms. EROs, we fall under a Circular 230, which
Gotcha.
is similar to what an EA, CPA, and tax attorney does as well.
So, with so many things always seeming to evolve and constantly change, um, how do you stay abreast of the new laws? Is it training, education classes? Like, how is the information sourced out to you, or how do you go about getting that information so that you can digest it in a way that you understand it so that you can then service your clients?
It is generally how you see yourself in doing the business. I am an unorthodox learner. So how I came into become a tax company was very unorthodox. It wasn't the
Gotcha.
norm. So if you know where you fall at, you will see key things. It's just like when I was a hairstylist, I saw the newest style on Instagram, or if we went to hair shows. So your eye will always attract to what's needed.
Right.
You're looking at anything coming from Congress to pass laws.
Right.
And it's just as simple as either going on the IRS website and just basic Googling.
Got it. Okay.
In mid-July is where we prep for the upcoming season.
The upcoming
so that's
season.
when a lot of the stamp laws are basically right there in face and play.
Gotcha. Okay. And so you mentioned the stimulus.
Yes.
So for the folks who benefited from the stimulus, what does that mean going forward into 2021 with that new law? Do they have to pay that money back? Like, what does that mean for the folks who were able to get a stimulus?
Surprisingly, under the previous administration, they wanted you to pay that money back. The type of system I purchased is very high. It's a very high class, very high sophisticated system. So I think within a day or two they changed it. Again, the switch of power was very longevity
Yeah,
played out.
sure.
So last minute things were suggested.
Of
The current
course.
administrative now are in the process of doing an extension of what was advised. Of course, the stimulus you do not have to pay back. The stimulus today, even though it's not fully passed, going forward, people who made $75,000 or under will get the $1,400 stimulus payment. Couples, I believe it's $150,000, and going forward, the money will go into not just businesses bailout, because unfortunately the first PPP loan, I did not receive it. That was very scarce with small businesses
Yes.
at that time. Going forward, the money will go towards healthcare, vaccines, schooling, which is I'm not sure why at this time with the vaccines, but I'm assuming there's a plan in place for that. So going forward, the additional to the 1,400, they're trying to put in place of where individuals will still receive a stimulus going forward from that, and I do believe it's going to extend the unemployment. Also, state benefits to homes as far as food, Medicaid, emergency services. That's going to be in this new stimulus law as well.
Okay, and that's going to be extended too.
Yes.
Okay, that's really good. What are some of the other top 3 things that should be on our radar when we go to file? Because a lot of times, for me, when I go file, I go to my tax preparer with whatever my pressing concerns are at the time. So in addition to that, what are some of the top things that you need to know in addition to the stimulus? And
addition to the stimulus going forward, what I noticed was a lot of individuals that received the double portion of unemployment. You have to look and see if unemployment paid or took away state and federal taxes. That has been the new discovery to where if the stimulus was not requested back, now your state is going to want to have you be in a deficit, and that is the challenge that has been going on. I'll say for the last 3 years, the last 5 years has already been tight enough, so that a preparer or a tax company should be aware of that. Also, the
That's
states.
major.
Oh yeah, it's very
Yeah.
major. Maryland in itself is in a deficit. Be very aware and begin to have a relationship with the different departments because they are in a deficit. They are kind of, I don't want to say head hunting, but that is the field with individuals who either don't have an income, have limited income, who are suffering in the pandemic. They're
Right.
trying to bring their state up or have make sure that no one's broken a rule. Money is not, not mishandled. But unfortunately, during this time, because we have had an administration that was mishandling everything,
Absolutely.
it trickles down to the state. So a preparer needs to be very careful when a client comes in and say, "Hey, the state is giving me a letter saying I'm owing." Challenge it.
Right.
Be ready to challenge it. That's your
That's good
client.
insight.
Don't
Great
come in
tip.
and accept that because we're all living in a situation where
Absolutely.
we have to kind of show and prove, and states are one of them.
That's a great tip for sure for the preparers.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give because of the pandemic and so many people are grieving and hurting and suffering financially during this time? Not everyone may not be able to basically afford someone to prepare their taxes. Are there any tips that you could lend to kind of help people out who may have to kind of do their own taxes?
Yes, always look for a preparer or company to first advise you of the first laws that we just
Spoke
just
about.
spoke about, if regarding state, federal, and the stimulus package. Going forward, if they want to assess with doing taxes on their own in their home, that is where you come together as a unit if you are a full family home or single, and look at your bills going forward. And there is a lesser part of doing it. However, just getting the knowledge from a free tax clinic will
Yes.
assist you. Going online with the self chats that some companies do have, or they.
So what about some of the, not to cut you off, but to your point, what about some of the, because there's some online services that enable you to kind of do it yourself.
Yes.
Are those really good? Are they user friendly? Like, is that something you would recommend or?
User friendly, yes. Recommend to get the full benefit of your refund? No,
No.
because there is
Wow.
a sufficient sufficient system that a ERO, H&R Block, myself purchase every year.
Got
You get what you pay for. If you get a free system, you're going to be missing money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but it's never to fret if you are speaking to an ERO. An ERO should not have the idea of looking at a customer as a dollar sign.
Yes.
They should be kind of trying to assist them humanely.
Right.
To just say, hey, I see your concern. Here's your suggestion. Good luck. If you have any questions, come back. I might be your preparer. I may not be your preparer.
Right. Absolutely. You're not for everybody, and I understand that too. One other thing, because I think you and I were talking about it. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but I needed to do an extension for 2021 and didn't know how. And I didn't realize that it was, for me, as complicated as you would think. So can you walk us through
The extension.
what someone like myself or any other tax preparer who may need to do an extension or file an extension on their own?
Yes, any preparer or any company that you have doing the work for yourself should be equipped with their system. And it's pretty much when you're giving or you're coming in filling out an application and you're expecting me or you're allowing me to process your taxes. If you were
Okay.
doing it on your own, again, the process is not that hard. It is your
Okay.
basic. It's your basic information. Some ask for your AGI. That's not suggestive in my opinion.
Okay.
Because an extension is what you
Yeah, why do they even need that just to push out the date? That's
well,
too much.
a lot of people are confused that they have to do taxes by April 15th. That is not correct. Taxes are
It's
done
not?
all the way up to October 15th.
But that's
when the
with an
system-
extension though, right?
That is, well, if you owe. If you are a individual where you are due a refund back, you can wait to file your taxes to October 15th. After April 15th, with an owed balance, even if you're in an agreement, you start to receive penalties and any type of penalties
Right.
and things like that, taxes accrued.
Right.
So
If you owe for the upcoming year that
if
you're
you owe for the upcoming year, if you are a person who basically pays enough taxes in their tax account, you have credits, you have children credits, you have an EIC credit, you have a credit writing off a home, you get a refund normally. Nothing has changed in your shifting of your how you pay your taxes, then you're due a refund. You can literally wait.
Gotcha. Okay. Very insightful. So talk to me a little bit about ways in which you can kind of avoid owing. Like I know you have like your standard, your W-2s and your 1099s and things of that nature. Are there any tips that you can lend us by telling us ways in which we can maybe avoid paying taxes or owing taxes?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you are a W-2 wage worker, it goes by the status of your home, head of household, single. If you are single, your federal exemption should not be any higher than 1, 2 is stretching it.
Single? Wow.
Yes.
What?
And then even though that is where they're taking a lot of taxes, but because you're
my
single,
pockets.
it can safely go against
Sheesh.
what you are, what your write-offs would be for that year.
Okay.
I have a lot of clients who are nurses, so if they traveled, this would be a double time for them because they've had more travel, more more things they've had to require for their job duties. So
Gotcha.
that's if you're single. Head of household, if it's one child, a 4, 2, a 5 or 7, and so on and so on. When you're 1099, every detailed receipt is important. If you're over 24, of course, you qualify for the earned income credit, and you pretty much have to go against everything that is utilized. Your gas, your mileage, your food, if you're self-employed, what you've made for the year, what you've lost for the year. Loss would be those ones who don't pay their bills, those ones you had to do returns on, those ones who purchased something and never picked it up.
There's so much.
Oh yeah, it's very much, and it's not really that hard. That's why I'm the unorthodox learner of coming in being a tax company.
Wow. Jesus, that's a lot. Does anybody else hate tax season? You just made my head spin.
I know, right?
It is like the worst time. I absolutely hate tax season. So you have definitely given us some amazing tips. So you guys make sure you check out Celestial Tax Services.
Yes,
Let
ma'am.
everybody know what your social media handles are and what your website is so they can get in touch with you.
Okay. Website is www.celestialtaxservice.org. My Facebook is Celestial Tax Service. My Instagram is Celestial_tax_service. And my Twitter is Celestial Tax Serve, SERV.
Absolutely. You guys make sure you check out Celestial Tax Service. Thank you so much
You are so welcome.
for taking the time out to join us on the Chelley Roy Show.
I'm so welcome.
We'll be right back after the break, you guys.
Celestial Tax Service provides excellent tax preparation for the local DMV and all 50 states all year round. Here at Celestial Tax Service, we can assist you with tax preparation, accounting, and credit repair. We go above and beyond for our customers, and we assist you throughout the year with your current and past tax needs. If you want your taxes done with quality work and personal care, and you're looking for new beginnings for your credit history, contact Celestial Tax Services today. For further information or to get services, visit our website at www.celestialtaxservice.org and print out our company credit report or a tax preparation application and email it or fax it in to us, and we'll get you started.
At Girlkin, we don't just do lashes, we offer an exceptional experience where women feel confident and celebrated in luxurious style. What sets us apart? Our amazing customer experience. There is nothing like it. Girlkin is a lifestyle. Lots of fun, laughs, and amazing lashes. Come try the Girlkin VIP experience.
Thank you guys. Welcome back to the Chelley Roy Show. My next guest is founder and CEO of Girlkin Lash Studio. You guys help me welcome Miss Kim Fernandez. Welcome, Kim. Hi, beautiful.
Hey, how are you, Miss Roy? Thank you so much for having me here. How are you?
I'm great.
Okay, great.
I'm great. Well, can we get the camera on her, guys? Isn't she amazing? Check out these lashes and I have to do it. Listen.
Thank you, yes.
Beautiful, yes. So amazing.
Thank you.
Listen, thank you so much for taking the time to be a part of the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for making this platform available.
You're doing some
it.
amazing things, and I definitely wanted to share with the world all of the great things that you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
I thank you for being
Likewise.
here. Thank you so much. So how have you guys been doing during this pandemic?
So it's definitely been some crazy times,
Sure.
but we've been maintaining, and I would like to send a shout out to our customers and, our employees for, just trusting us and coming back to us. I mean, we shut down for about 3 months.
That was hard,
but we
I'm
came back
sure.
stronger, and we're trying to look beyond this situation.
I love that.
So that's where we are, just trying to motivate the team to keep strong.
I love
But
that.
we've been maintaining.
So hold that thought, because I definitely want to talk about that, because some businesses haven't been able to survive during the pandemic. So I definitely want to get your
unfortunately.
thoughts and some of your tips on what you've been able to do to kind of press your way through.
Absolutely.
So before we get into that, tell everybody who Kim Fernandez is and what's your story.
Oh, wow, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
So I'm Kim Fernandez. I'm the owner and founder of Girlkin Lashes and Girlkin Franchise.
Yay!
And just like you and probably a lot of your viewers, I wear so many different hats. I'm an entrepreneur, business owner. I actually have a 17-year career as a senior manager. I'm a wife, but my proudest role is being a mom of 4 boys.
Amen.
And, every day I'm just trying to be a role model for them and set a great example. And really trying to leave a legacy for them. And Girlkin helps me achieve that. Girlkin is very near and dear to my heart. It's a play on my maiden name.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's a play on my maiden name. And just a quick story about that. My maiden name is Boykin. And I have an older brother. And in grade school, they always thought we looked like twins. So they call him Boykin and call me Girlkin.
I like it.
But it stands for Gameful, Influential, and Relentless Ladies Keeping a Network.
I love
it is everything.
One more time. That was powerful.
No
Say
problem.
That again.
It's Gameful, Influential, and Relentless Ladies Keeping a Network.
Love
And it pretty much embodies who I am as a person, as a woman, in our brand.
Yeah.
We're all about integrity, giving back, making women feel confident in luxurious styles. So that's a little bit about who I am. Born and raised in Maryland. I'm raising my family in Carroll County now.
Carroll County. Where were you born in? What part of
Fort Washington.
Okay, good,
Yeah,
good.
Fort Washington.
Not
I went to
far.
Friendly High School.
Yeah, you friendly. My son went to Friendly too. Go ahead. I love it.
So, I'm very familiar with the area.
Good.
Very laid back person. Like I said, I'm a woman of integrity.
I can
What you
tell
see is what you
that.
get from me.
Yeah.
And, that's just a little bit about me.
I love that.
Yeah.
So when I started actually following you online, and I'm so glad that Pastor Marsha
Oh, my
connected us.
goodness.
That was
Bless
the
her
best
heart.
thing that she could have done,
Yes.
because we definitely have so much in common, and
We do.
we too are, definitely for supporting and encouraging
Absolutely.
sisters and businesses.
And you've
things
been
of
a
that
blessing.
nature. Thank
and,
you. So
and thank
have
you so much for
You
giving
have
me this
as well.
opportunity.
But listen, I have been raving about the studio, and
Oh,
I am going to
thank
be
you.
coming soon. But I too want the experience.
Of course.
Before we end the show, you'll give everybody your information where they can go find you. But guys, it is definitely an experience. When I go on your page, from the chandelier lights to the plush beds, it's an experience that is grabbing me just by way of the commercials and watching the actual pages and things of that nature. So,
and thank you. And all that was done strategically. We want to give people a luxury experience, a consistent experience.
Absolutely.
So I started this business pretty much as a consumer. I wanted more out of my beauty experiences.
Absolutely.
You know, I wanted people to appreciate my time, my money,
yes,
and everything about that. And so that's what we're about. So I put myself in the consumer shoes. Whatever I want to do, that's what we do in our business.
I love that.
And that is what I preach to my team, so we can make sure that we're having a consistent experience for our customers. We want to show up and show out every single time.
I love that.
Yep.
And that's what I get from you. I absolutely love that. So let's talk a little bit about what you feel, not talking about the pandemic specifically, but just in general, what you feel like some of the difficult times are when it comes to running a business.
Gracious. You pretty much have to re-envision the way you do business.
Yeah.
If you don't have your business in order, meaning your policies, your processes, you got to get them in order. You pretty much have to re-envision your customers' pain points. You got to go back to why you started the business.
Absolutely.
And just know that that could be different post-pandemic. You know, so, you know, you just have to make sure that, you know, you're always in tune, you know, with your customers, what they need, speaking to them. So that's just very important, especially in this atmosphere. People have limited resources. So you have to give them a reason to, you know, come and patronize your business. And like I said, that could be very different. Their reason for showing up, you know, pre-pandemic is very different than what it is right now.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we're making sure that we're strategic, you know, with how we schedule. We're making sure that, you know, with our sanitary measures that, you know, we're on, you know, heightened alert with that. And just making sure that we appreciate people and talk to people and understand where their pain points are, making sure that we communicate with them, letting them know that we're here for them. Like during the pandemic, we had a virtual spa party for our customers. And, you know, we did like homemade facials. Things like that people relate to. You know, we were closed for 3 months, but we want to let them know we're still here for them.
Okay, so that actual facial party was during the time that you
guys
were
we
closed.
did it on Zoom.
That was genius. That was genius.
Yeah,
though.
we did it on Zoom. Yeah, it actually was a fun time. You know, we did some games. You know, we did homemade facials. I think I did like avocado and cucumber oil or something like that. So, you know, we just wanted to find a way to connect with our clients outside of being in a salon, and it went over very well.
Oh, I can imagine. You definitely have to have that engagement, and definitely, like you said, make your clients feel like you care.
Absolutely.
Because I remember when the pandemic first started, it was just, you know, everybody was tired of being at home, depressed. And so at a time like when you did the facial party, I'm sure that was very exciting. Like people just needed to get out, be a part of something, be around, you know, people and no longer feel isolated. So it was just a time that was really, really needed.
Yeah, I gave myself about 1 to 2 weeks, and then I had to go back in it. We had customers depending on us. And so, like I said, we just have to see beyond the pandemic, beyond being closed. My vision for this business is so much bigger than a pandemic.
That's amazing. I absolutely love that.
Thank
I love that you are definitely business oriented and definitely very strategic in everything that you're doing. So once you guys were closed down for 4 months, what policies or what is it that you guys did differently than other businesses to push your way through?
So we just we communicated all the additional measures that we were doing with our clients. So heightened communication. We staggered appointments. So for instance, there's never really, you know, you're never going to find 10, 15 people waiting in our salons.
Yes,
but we still we still staggered appointments.
Very nervous.
Yeah, we still staggered appointments. You know, we communicated, you know, that we had additional sanitation measures. We did contactless checkout, so people can now check out via their phone just by, you know, a link. So we we had to change some of our processes just to make it, work in a line. And people felt very comfortable coming back to us. We actually didn't miss a beat.
That
and so
is
still
really
getting
good.
new customers. So,
really good.
So I appreciate that.
So during the pandemic when you guys were closed, how did you ensure your team that everything was going to be okay? What was that process like? I know that was really, really hard.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was really hard, but I just kept the lines of communication open.
Good.
And again, just trying to talk to them as a team, talking to them one-on-one to see exactly what they're feeling, just reassuring them that Girlkin isn't going anywhere. When you look around, there were so many businesses that were closing down and shutting down. I had to reinforce that, again, I'm thinking beyond this pandemic and we will come back and we will come back stronger. So just trying to motivate them. But that's part of my job in any facet, of what I'm doing, just motivating them and being there and letting them know that, I really appreciate them trusting me and believing in, my vision and, trying to move things forward. So
I absolutely love that.
Just heightened communication.
That's important.
Thank
Very
you.
important.
It is.
Your team is lucky.
Thank you. I lead by example.
And that's very
Yeah,
important.
my motto for life is
don't.
treat people how I want to be treated.
It's that
so
simple.
that's what has made me successful.
It's that simple. So a lot of people don't know that you are a franchisor.
Yes,
You are actually
I can't believe it sometimes.
I can believe it. You actually have 3 locations
Yes.
right now, working on a 4th.
Absolutely.
Which will be coming to a place near us at the National Harbor.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
right,
National
guys?
Harbor.
Yes. So, give us a little bit of insight on Girlkin Lash Studio and the services that you'll be offering at the harbor.
So sure. So we obviously we're going to do lashes. We offer 4 different sets of lashes. So we have classic, hybrid, volume, and a mega volume lash. That's what I'm wearing right now. It's called Showgirl.
Love them.
Thank
Yes.
you. We're also going to be introducing manicures and pedicures.
That's going to be nice.
So we're going to be a full service spa. We'll have massages, we'll have aesthetics, we'll do customized facials. So we're going to lay it all out on the line for National Harbor. We're going to come correct at the National Harbor, and I'm so excited about it.
I absolutely love that. So when you actually look to bring on folks to your team, add new team, new staff, things of that nature, what are some of the things that you look for in someone to become a part of the team? Because for me, I know when I look for someone to join the team, it's someone that I can build with, someone that I can nurture and grow with, to be a part of the family, not someone who's just going to be there, for a couple months and then leave. So what are some of the things that you look for when you actually look to bring on new staff or team?
So I'm looking for people that are self-sufficient. We are not a salon that's going to sit over you and micromanage you. We need you to be able to work independently to work out any customer issues that may arise.
Yes.
We need you to be able to handle your own. I'm looking for someone that believes in our mission. Amazing customer service.
Yes.
Like if you don't know how to talk to your customers, then you cannot be a part of our team.
Yes.
So I look for, people, to make sure that they're responsible, ensuring that they show up to work on time, make sure that they're a team player, and just believe in our mission and what we're trying to accomplish at Girlkin.
That's very important. I mean, you almost have to approach it as though you're your own entrepreneur. You're in business for yourself, and you're really just a facilitator, providing the space for them to work.
Exactly.
So if you go into it with that mindset, then you'll be fine. But I love the fact that you're all about integrity and customer service, because when you and I talk, I expressed to you that, I was really on a quest to really do more of a better job of supporting our Black-owned businesses.
Yes.
But how I was so disappointed at times where they didn't have the integrity that I was looking for. They didn't have the customer service. They didn't like to show up to work on time. So it was very disappointing.
Yeah, and it's not all of them, but, unfortunately, sometimes, people get a bad rap. But, I've had those same experiences. And that's one of the reasons why I started this business. I didn't start out as a cosmetologist or esthetician.
Yes.
I saw a need for a business like us, like ours, and I just went with it.
It's
And,
definitely
you know,
need.
we've grown into a, you know, entire brand right now. And, you know, I feel good about it.
You should. I love it. I love the advertising, the
Thank you.
commercial, everything. You could tell, you know, that you invest in yourself, you believe in your brand. It definitely shows.
It's part of the experience. The
Yeah.
experience starts when someone lands on your website.
That's true.
So they want to see what type of branding. They want to see that it's a clean environment. You know, so I have to say, if you can't see yourself being lashed there, then you probably need to step your game up.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, we want to make sure that we always have a luxury, clean environment for our guests. So, you know, that's important to me.
That's
So
very
thank
important.
you. Thank you so much.
I definitely love that you're giving that experience. And I can't wait to come and get mine for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You can be our first guest at the National
I
Harbor.
want to be.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
I want to get my lashes. I want the full experience.
Okay.
I want to get
And
my
you know you're
lashes
gonna
done,
get
my
it.
facial. I want to get my pedicure, my manicure,
Okay.
everything.
All right.
So the last thing I want to ask you, what advice would you give an aspiring entrepreneur who's thinking about, you know, balancing, starting up a new business, balancing, you know, having a family, being a wife, a mom? What advice would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur?
So people with the type A or planning personality probably want to turn away from the camera. I'm going to say just do it.
Yeah.
Just take the step.
that simple.
Write the check, open a salon. Just take that next step, you know, to receive, you know, your passion.
I love that.
I'm a very, you know, Philly person, and it's all about instincts for me. I feel like a lot of people spend a lot of time aggressively getting ready. They write that 10-page, 20-page business plan, and they let it collect dust.
Yeah.
And so that's not what entrepreneurship is about. Now, it's a lot of hard work.
It really
You got to
is.
be willing to stay the course.
For sure.
But you got to take the first step.
Yeah, you definitely
And a
gotta
lot of
start.
people get hung up on the first step. And I
Yeah.
was looking at your first guest, and he said, listen, I did a podcast outside.
Yep.
That is the
Gotta
type of
start
vigor that you
somewhere.
need.
Absolutely.
You just got to start. I started this business in my living room, and look at me now.
Amazing.
And in my
That's
living
it. It's,
room.
it's that simple. You really have to start.
Exactly.
So I appreciate that. And tell everybody what your social media handles are so that we can reach you.
So sure. So Instagram is Girl Can Lashes. Facebook is Girl Can Lashes. That's GIRLKINLASHES. Website is girlcanlashes.com. And then our franchise site is girlcanfranchise.com. We don't do TikTok or I'm a little too open.
Absolutely.
Not yet, at
love it.
least.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so much again for joining us. It was a pleasure. Thank you to everyone in the audience, all of my guests, Mr. Zabril Carey, Miss Rachel Gaskins, and Miss Kim Fernandez.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
guys. It's been a great show. Have a great night.
It's the Chelley Roy Show. It's the Chelley Roy Show. It's the Chelley Roy Show, and it's going down. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh, you can learn. Chelley Roy, it's your turn. You can laugh.